Hey everybody, welcome back. If you're new, my name is Chris. Welcome. Today's video is a video that's been about a year in the making. I haven't done a Middle Eastern or Arabian perfume video in about a year. And when I did one a year ago, I showed a lot of fragrances that were considered gems and very beloved in the fragrance community. And I just didn't care for a bunch of them. And so over the past year, I have gathered multiple Middle Eastern and Arabian perfumes that I think are absolutely spectacular. Most of these I've had at least 2 months to a year. None of these are new to me. And these are all likes or very strong loves. Some of these I know are inspiration or dupes, and many of them are original. The vast majority of these are very, very affordable. I think I have one that's on the high end, over $55, but I'm gonna mention it anyways because I absolutely love it. If you have been enjoying my content or you are a new visitor, welcome. I would love it if you would consider subscribing and hit that bell notification so that you are alerted anytime I post anything on community board or release a new video. And with that, I'm gonna jump right in because I have a ton of amazing fragrances I cannot wait to share with you. I'm gonna start with the two fragrances that I get asked most about, and I have shown many times in the past this one, Khamrah. I will say that my bottle is kind of falling apart. The plate's falling apart. I'm going to have to hot glue it. But I actually kept this one and decluttered Angel Share. I think we all know that this is probably an inspiration to Angel Share, although I find a lot of differences. Angel Share is super sweet. It's heavy, it's thick, it's boozy, it's syrupy sweet. I could only wear it during certain times of the year, like in the colder months. I find Khamrah a little bit more lighter wearing. I think it's just easier to wear year round. It's a little bit spicier. It has a more woody, spicy dry down in the base, and I really loved it. And I did not want to get the new flanker because I was very happy with the original Khamrah. And I went ahead and picked up Qahwa because the newest flanker, because so many people were asking me about it, and I really enjoy the original Khamrah so much. So I picked this up, and I really wish I hadn't because I think I love this even more. I was happy with Khamrah. Listen, if you're happy with Khamrah, stick to Khamrah. They're both very pretty and they share a lot of similarities. However, after wearing these side by side about 10 times, I've noticed I'm picking up on a lot of differences, and I unfortunately think I like the newest one better. It has a lot of the same notes, but this one has a little bit of coffee. They both have vanilla, they both have praline, they both have tonka, but this one has a little bit of a bitter coffee note in the beginning. It does not last forever, but it's actually nice. It's bitter, but it's nice. Khamrah, the original, when it dries down, oh my gosh, the plate is dangling by a thread. This one is woodier in the dry down. This one is spicier in the dry down. And the newest flanker, Qahwa, I find is sweeter. It's a little bit more vanillic. It's not as woody, and it's not as spicy. So if you really like your sweet perfumes and you were looking for this to be a little bit more sweeter and more vanillic, less spicy, less woody, this is going to be your answer. Again, you do not need both. I prefer this one. I think I love it. I've talked about it a million times, but I don't need both of them because they are so similar. And like I said, if you already have Khamrah and you love it, just stick with it. If you haven't bought either and you don't like spices, woods aren't your favorite, and you're looking for something a little bit more vanillic and sweet, then you may really enjoy the newest flanker. One of the perfumes I have been enjoying the most and really have been the most excited about showing you is one I've had for a couple months, and it is just, the bottle won me over when I saw it. It was a blind buy, but I didn't care because it was around, I want to say I paid like $33. And let me tell you, pictures and a video does not do this bottle justice. It's called Musamam White Intense. This is just absolutely a stunning bottle. This thing weighs about 5 pounds, and it is so pretty that I do not care. I wouldn't care if this smelled like armadillo poop. I would keep the bottle and just put it on my dresser. It's stunning, and like I said, it could be a paperweight, it could be a weapon, you could use it for self-defense. It's gorgeous. Fortunately, the juice inside is just so good. So I would say that this is an ambery floral sandalwood. So it's a slightly tropical ambery sandalwood that has these gentle floral undertones. The sandalwood is, to me, the most dominant note, particularly in the dry down, and it is a nice ambery sandalwood. It does kind of remind me, I'm talking about the sandalwood, a little bit of Fragrance du Bois, Santal Complet. They're not, this is not a dupe, but the sandalwood is the same, or it's very similar. It's a similar sandalwood. However, this is a little bit more tropical. It's a little bit more floral. I think the flower or florals in here, maybe jasmine, ylang ylang. It has a little bit of lemon. It's definitely very coconutty, and I pick up on the coconut in the beginning, but it does stay pretty much to the dry down. So it has this nice tropical flair. I love that coconutty sandalwood combo. It's absolutely beautiful. It is light wearing. So this is not a super strong, atypical Middle Eastern or Arabian perfume that's gonna blow the house down and knock out everybody around you. It does wear more intimately. And so for me, which is nice, I have been wearing it to work and it's really not offensive. People only smell me when they kind of come into my little scent bubble or scent zone. It's beautiful and I have been loving this. This is year round, but it's going to do great in the summer because of that tropical flair, the coconut in here, and that really nice, sweet but light and gentle ambery sandalwood. I love it. Now, if you are a big fan of florals and you like a fruity, rosy perfume that's really gentle and pretty, very feminine and light wearing, this one right here is very, very pretty. I think it's called Mora by Lattafa. And this was another blind buy. Again, I didn't mind because I think I got this for $19 on Jomashop, and it's a huge 3.4 ounce bottle. This one is so lovely and happy and feminine and pretty. It just reminds me of a pink dress or going out in a sundress on a hot day. It reminds me a little bit, I don't think this is not, I don't think, a clone or a dupe of anything because it doesn't remind me of anything exactly, but it shares some similarities, to Miss Dior Absolutely Blooming, but that one is much heavier, it's stronger, it has a more syrupy sweetness. This one is more light, it's more fruity. I think the fruit in here is lychee. It does have a little bit of pink pepper, but the pink pepper in Absolutely Blooming is much stronger. Here it's lighter, so it's really light wearing. This will be great in the summertime. I've worn it a couple times on a really cold day. This is just so light, it does not cut through that really heavy cold, that Midwestern cold. So I know it's gonna do so much better in the spring, and definitely on warmer days in the summer. This would be a fabulous, easy reach, grab and go fragrance for the warmer months, and I absolutely adore it. Now, before I forget, for all you patient, lovely people who watch my videos through and through, I forgot to mention at the beginning of the video that if you are patient and wait till the end, I have a really, really big, nice surprise for one of you in the audience. Now, with that, I'm gonna go straight to two perfumes that I absolutely love. One of them I've had for like 3 years. I've shown this on so many videos. They come from the house of Rouas, and this one is called Qasamat Rasana. So this to me is a very Arabian take on that Creed of Ventus DNA. Gosh, do I love this. Every time I smell it, I just do not get sick of it. So it's very, very juicy, tart, mouth-puckering, mouth-watering fruits in the beginning. I want to say it's like lemon and apple or green apple. It's super fresh, very, very bright and invigorating. It has a nice, gentle, ambery sweetness. There's some woods in here. It's got a little bit of earthiness. I want to say it has cypriol, which does kind of give it a warm spiciness. And it might be the one reason that some of you will think it pulls a little bit masculine. I think this is absolutely unisex. I have gotten so many comments from all of you guys here on YouTube and over on Instagram that they have purchased this and absolutely love it and have bought backups. So I do think it's very, very unisex, but this has a very typical, you know, an Arabian Middle Eastern musk, which is super, super strong. This is a powerhouse. This lasts me 10 to 12 hours all day. Now the other one that I have from the line, this is called Qasamat Ebhar. Now they're very, very different perfumes. This one is a very sweet, fruity vanillic amber. It's vanilla, so you've got vanilla and apple and praline. It does remind me a little bit of something else I have in the box that I will show in a moment. But it's really a sweet vanillic fruity perfume. And in fact, when I've worn this to work, I've had a couple coworkers say, oh my gosh, you smell so good. It smells like a fruity vanilla. And even one of my coworkers guessed green apple and pear. And I do think both of those are in here. If they're not, I certainly get them, and other people who smell me get them as well. Now, this is not the powerhouse that Qasamat Rasana is, but it is beautiful, and you can get at least 6 hours with this. Love it, gorgeous, very affordable. Well, I might as well talk about Casablanca. I've shown this a million gajillion times. I've had this for like 3 or 4 years. It is a fruity amber vanilla with caramel. It's very, very sweet. This is a great layering fragrance if you want to bring out the sweetness, if you want to bring out the fruity sweetness in a fragrance that you think is a little bit too masculine. For example, I'm just thinking of tobacco fragrances off the top of my head. This is a great way to do that. Apple, you know, grapes. I don't think there's pear in here, but I smell pear. Caramel, amber, super, super sticky sweet, powerhouse. Another one that's going to last you like 10 to 12 hours. And I find that these two are very, very similar, but this one is much longer lasting. This has more caramel. This has more amber. This one has more like a vanillic sweetness. It's more vanillic in the dry down, and they're both really, really good. The next one is a fragrance that is probably unisex. However, to me, it leans a little bit masculine. This is one I gave Pat for Christmas. This is Junoon Oud, and it, I think, is an impression of one particular fragrance I'm thinking of, Bulgari. It's called Tiger by Bulgari. I got a sample of that last summer, and I really enjoyed it, but I just didn't think I would enjoy it enough to get the full bottle. The full bottle is very expensive, and it pulled just a little bit masculine on me. So when I got this at the end of the year, I knew immediately that if it wasn't an impression, it sure smells super similar. I would say this is like 90% as close to Tiger. It's very, very similar. So if you are unfamiliar with Tiger or this particular note profile or the scent profile, this, I would call this a citrusy, woody fragrance. It has a lot of citruses. You've got, I want to say grapefruit, there's oak moss, woody notes. I mean, maybe it's oud, maybe it's some other wood, but there is definitely a woody presence in the dry down. The grapefruit, the citruses are very prominent in the front or at the top. I do get a background of musk. There's musk, maybe a little bit of ambroxan in here, and some like non-specific florals, just a little bit floral. So a great unisex to masculine leaning fragrance that I think is actually fabulous, and I want to say I paid like $50 for it. Another fragrance that's been around forever, I want to say I got this at least 2 years ago. It's probably been over 2 years. It's made all the rounds. It was very, very big when it first came out, but I still really like it. I didn't realize how much I loved it until I smelled it on someone else. And again, this is Nebras. This is an impression or a dupe for the Billie Eilish, the original release. And I always liked it, but I came to love it because my daughter wears this all the time. One of her really good friends wears Eilish, and so she really likes it, so she's been wearing this. And boy, does this smell so good in the air. It's delicious. So this is a chocolatey vanilla, and I'm going to put emphasis on the vanilla. So the chocolate is in here, but it definitely takes a backseat to the vanilla. The vanilla is the star, and there are a little bit of, you know, like fruits, maybe red berries in the background. But I mean, this is not groundbreaking, but it just smells so good, and I love it when my daughter wears it. It has pretty good longevity, a decent scent bubble, and I think a fabulous perfume for people who like that scent profile, and it is pretty darn close to the Billie Eilish. I would say they're like 85–90% the same. All right, we're gonna go with one of my favorites, one I've been yammering about since last year. I had this in my great alternatives to baby cat video. This is called Rifaqaat. This is such a good cheapy alternative to baby cat. And those of us in the United States, we cannot get baby cat. Is basically impossible to find. So if you can't find it, you've been looking for a bottle, you are on a budget, this is a fantastic alternative. It is not a dupe. There are differences. I have Baby Cat, I have Ode the Audacity. Those two are the closest. This kind of skips over the beginning, the opening notes of the other two. The other two have a very prominent spicy, incensey opening, but this one does not. To me, this one kind of jumps to the middle notes. So it goes straight to the saffron. So it has a saffrony suede thing going on. There are resins in here. I want to say there's elemi, a little bit of spices. It's not super spicy. Obviously, it's got vanilla in here. The vanilla is not as sweet. I do think this one is fantastic. It does lean a little bit, it's unisex to masculine because the vanilla is not as sweet, the vanilla is not as strong, the saffron's toned is dialed up a little bit, the suede is dialed up a little bit, but the suede is very, very pleasant. It's very dry, so this is a nice, dry, airy perfume, fantastic, and I want to say, like, I got it for $30 and I have a discount code below. So the next one I stumbled across by sheer accident. I was shopping on Jomashop, and somehow on the screen somewhere, this perfume bottle floated in my periphery. It was one of these, if you like this, you'll like this one. And it is called Rose 01 by Swiss Arabian. I thought, wow, the bottle's really pretty. I'm going to take a chance. I didn't even look at the notes. I didn't even look on Fragrantica, the note profile. I just thought, I like a lot of rose perfumes. The bottle's really pretty. I'll give it a shot. So when it came and I sprayed it, I knew immediately that if this isn't an impression or a dupe of one of the Delinas, it sure smells awfully close. I would say that this is somewhere in between Delina and Delina exclusive. So what I'm missing in this that is in the original Delina is the rhubarb. So I don't get rhubarb whether it's in here or not. I do get rose. I do get like a lychee. It's got a little bit of the darkness of Delina exclusive. I get something woody. It's got some sweetness. There's vanilla, but Delina exclusive is much, much sweeter. And I think the woods are equally as present. I think that one has oud. Some people can't take it in there. So it almost combines the best of the two and mixes them together. I think it's fantastic. Do I need it? Absolutely not. Will I keep it? Yes, for now, because it's so pretty and it wears so well. And again, I think I paid like around $50. I can't even believe I'm saying this, but I'm considering getting rid of Delina because I don't wear it. I tend to pull for Delina exclusive in the cold weather and Delina La Rosée in the summer. And this doesn't have that rhubarb that sometimes can give me just a little bit of a headache in the original Delina, but it almost feels like blasphemous to get rid of Delina, but I'm just not wearing it, so we'll see. But this is fantastic. So if you didn't like the rhubarb, the vanilla was, if you didn't like the rhubarb in the original Delina, you thought Delina exclusive was too sweet, you may just absolutely love this. It is a fantastic rose perfume. The next one I got is a freebie. I made a big order over on Aroma Concepts and they tossed in a couple of freebies. The next one is one of the ones they tossed in. I'm not even going to try to pronounce the name. I'm going to put it below. And I thought this was really pretty, but for whatever reason, I had a lot of things to sample and test and wear. This poor little thing kind of got neglected, and this one got brushed to the side. I neglected it and I thought, my gosh, I've been given it, I was so kindly gifted this perfume, I can at least sample it. And it is a perfume oil, and oh my gosh, this is delicious. My mouth is kind of watering thinking about what this smells like. This is a delicious, fruity, musky, powdery in the dry down oil. This is a great tropical oil if you want to smell very fruity. I mean, I get like pineapple, I think I get like cherries, maybe a little bit of orange. It's very fruit punchy. Like if you had a pineapple tropical fruit punch with a cherry on top, that's what this would smell like. As it dries down, the musk really comes out, so it's really musky. And then further in the dry down, it gets powdery. But my goodness, I've worn this by itself, like when I'm going to the gym or a workout, and it has presence. Let me tell you, you can wear it alone or underneath a fruity perfume. It's fabulous. Okay, I'm getting down to the end and I was trying to go through these pretty efficiently just so this wasn't a super long video. I talked about this next one in my Ultimate Gourmand video. This is called Eternal Coffee, and oh my gosh, you must love chocolate and have a sweet tooth to love this one. I don't get a ton of coffee and it's not eternal. This one on me, for whatever reason, does not last very long. If you have this perfume and you can get it to last longer than 4 hours, let me know in the comments. But anyways, this is not, even though it says coffee in the title, to me this is a German chocolate cake. I get coconut, I get like chocolate, coconut, maybe a little bit of nuts, very, very sweet, chocolatey, a little bit of vanilla in the dry down, and maybe a skosh of coffee way in the background. This is absolutely delicious, and I want to say I paid like $29 for it. So a great deal, as long as you don't care about the lasting power. So I think I said in my other video, it smelled exactly like a liquefied German chocolate cake. And that's what I get. German chocolate cake with a dollop of whipped cream and a little bit of coffee in the background. Okay, the next one comes in the prettiest bottle, and it is called Shaka Oud Tonka by Swiss Arabian. Now I will say the original Shaka Oud did not work for me. It was just too strong. It was just too strong, too much of a powerhouse. Now I will say I haven't tried it in like 3 to 4 years. So, you know, our tastes change, our fragrances that we love change. So I might like it now, but in the past it was just too much for me. So when I saw the notes in this, I thought I would really, really love it. It is a Tonka vanilla almond perfume with some woods. And I don't know if this is a dupe of anything, but it definitely reminds me of a perfume, and I'm totally blanking on the name. It's by BDK. Anyways, I'll think of it in a minute. But as soon as I sprayed this, I remember thinking, this reminds Velvet Tonka, that's what it is. This reminds me of Velvet Tonka, and Velvet Tonka for the first 5 minutes was absolutely fabulous, and then all of a sudden it took a bad turn and it went really sour and animalic on me, and I just, oh, it was so bad. This one reminds me of that perfume, a lot of that perfume, maybe 75–80%, but this one does not go sour. It's very Tonka heavy. You've got a lot of vanilla, there's spices, I want to say cinnamon, perhaps a little bit of nutmeg. It very, very almondy. I would say almond. I get the almond the most. It's quite beautiful, a little bit dusty, a little bit powdery, and there is a strong wood in the base. If memory serves, I think the wood is amber wood, but I get something a little bit more strong. The oud, whether it's oud or some other wood, it's very, very strong in the dry down. I think this is a perfectly unisex fragrance. Some people might think it leans a little bit feminine because it's a little bit powdery, has some nice vanilla. It's got a lot of nice almond. It's a touch marzipan-y, but this thing is a powerhouse. Oh my gosh, literally 3 to 4 sprays. The multiple times I've worn this have lasted me all day. Almost was too much. Like 4 sprays was almost too much. So this will last a lifetime. Okay, the last 2 before I get to my really nice surprise. I'm gonna grab this one. This one is very interesting. This is called Saphir. And both myself and Pat, my spouse, we get very different things in here. To my spouse, to Pat, he thinks this is a full-on gourmand. Let me get a dabber. He gets full-blown lemon meringue out of this. Now, I will say in the beginning, it does have this very lemony, gourmandy hint to it. However, for me, which keeps it from being a full-on, you know, lemon meringue pie, which Pat gets, or lemon meringue. So he thought it smelled like lemon meringue, not lemon meringue pie. The filling of a lemon meringue pie. This is very, very green. I get a lot of green, whether it's grass or clover or violet leaves. It's very, very green, very fresh, very sparkly, very bright, you know, bubbly, effervescent. But there's something in the background that's a little bit spicy. So maybe some coriander, I don't know, so maybe some different spices in here and some woods in the background. Those notes keep this from being a gourmand to me, even though Pat swears this smells like a lemon meringue. And I want to say that this is an inspiration, or maybe it's a dupe for Oud for Happiness. I will say I had a big decant of that like a year and a half ago, and I don't think it's a full-on dupe. I think there are some similarities for sure, but the woods, the Oud in that was much heavier. I remember, to my nose, them being very different. That one was very woody. I think it had like an anise note or maybe a licorice note that just was a little bit off-putting to me. And the Oud in that one was much stronger. The woods in here, whether it's woods or Oud, are not as strong, but definitely present, and a little bit of spices. But I think I paid like $19 for this. So if you like bright, citrusy, lemony perfumes that have a little bit of greenness, a little bit of woods, unisex, probably leaning a little bit masculine, this one's great. And the last one before I get to my little surprise is one I picked up literally the day that this dropped. I follow Aroma Concepts over on Instagram, and they were showing this over on Instagram. It's called Mango Punch. I bought this and I went straight to the website and bought it without sniffing it, because in general, I like most mango perfumes. And so I got this right away. So this is a really, really good mango perfume. If you're looking for a mango perfume, a punchy, tropical mango perfume, and you're on a budget, this is great. I want to say I paid $30 to $50. I don't remember. I'll try to remember to list it below. But this is great, and it does remind me a lot of Mango Skin by Wilhelm, but there are some differences. Mango Skin had this green thing, like this green mango skin. There was almost something a little bit off in that one, like it was a little bit rotting. There was an off note. It did not wear well on me. That's why I never bought the perfume. This one is a little bit sweeter. It doesn't have that green skin thing going on. It's more tropical. It's sweeter. It's a little bit more syrupy and a slight bit more tart. A really, really good alternative to Mango Skin. If you didn't like the things about Mango Skin that I didn't like, this one is fantastic. And now I'm going to get to the good stuff. So the very last one I almost forgot. This is the only one that's expensive in the bunch, but it is definitely a Middle Eastern or Arabian perfume brand, and I absolutely love this. This is called Sana, and it's by Blend Oud. And oh my gosh, if you like Lira and were really tired of the poor performance and you wanted something a slightly more vanillic, let me tell you, this is what I wanted Lira to be. And I have a 5 ml decant of Lira. I used to have Lira, the full bottle, got rid of that like 2 years ago. It just would not last on me. I bought another 5 ml decant on Scent Split just to use it to compare with my other perfumes. And I wore this one and I wore Lira side by side a couple days, and I went to work, and it was really, really funny. So this is a citrusy lemony vanilla with caramel. So very, very similar notes to Lira. This is an expensive perfume, but I got mine on sale at Max Aroma, and I noted last night, the night before I filmed this, this was on like 40% off sale, which is a steal. I think it was like $107. Anyways, so I wore this to work 2 days, and every single person had a favorite, but was unanimous. Some people liked Lira better, and I asked them why, and they said it's a little bit more citrusy. So the people, my friends, my coworkers who aren't big fans of vanilla, they preferred Lira because they got more citrus. Those of my friends, my work friends, my coworkers that are big vanilla fans liked this better because the vanilla was more strong, and it was absolutely unanimous out of like 8 people. Hands down, not even close, this one had the best longevity. Now, I thought that myself, just from what my wearings were, but this was not even close. So this is not just subjective to me. This is 8 different people smelling it on me on 2 different days. So if you like a little bit more vanillic, longer lasting version of Lira, this is spectacular. This is gorgeous. And when I spray it on my bathrobe, I'm telling you, I can smell it for a week. Okay, so I got 3 bottles in PR that I'm going to be giving away to someone out there. So I'm just going to put these in a box. It's very, very heavy. The first one is called, I think it's called Intoxicate. It's called Intoxicate right here. And this is definitely a dupe or impression of Angel Share. So I have Khamrah, the flankers. I had Angel Share, decluttered it. It was a little too much. So this, I do not need another one in that fragrance category. So to me, this is a, like I would say, a masculine leaning Angel Share. It's a little bit more woody, a little bit more spicy, not as sweet, but, and a little bit more boozy. A little bit more boozy. Maybe I even get raisin in here. But yeah, so a really nice take on that profile. I don't need it. The next one is called, I think it's called Taskeen, and this is by Paris Corner. Now the reason why I'm not keeping it is because it's too similar to Mango Punch. Now they are similar, but there are differences. So this is more mango forward. It has a little bit more vanilla in the dry down. This one is more peachy. I think there's peach. There is orange in this. So this pulls a little bit more citrusy, but it's a very tropical drink. This one is a little bit more citrusy, a little bit more tart, not quite as sweet. A good one, but I don't need it. So a fantastic one. And then the last one is, I think it's called Kissa, Qissa. And when I smelled this, I thought, this smells a lot like Yara, the one in the pink bottle, and a better version, a way better version of Yara. There was something in there that was synthetic and a little bit plasticky to me. This one is a better version. This is way better, but really in the same category, except it's more tropical. This one has coconut. I don't even know if Yara, I don't have Yara anymore. I gave that one away, or it's gone. I don't even know if that had coconut. This one has coconut, so it has more of a tropical drink vibe, whereas I think Yara had like a cheesecake vibe or something cheesecakey going on. It's less synthetic and a really nice and a little bit sweeter, almost like that has coconut nectar in here. So these three right here will be going to one person, and again, I did not. And the fourth perfume, which will be included, is called Rose Molecule, which is a dupe or impression of Atomic Rose. I sprayed these, I think, like 3 or 4 times just to get an idea, and knew pretty quickly that I didn't need them. And I don't like to hoard. I don't like to have duplicates, and I don't really like to sell things that I've been given in PR on Mercari. So if you are, I've had a lot of people over several videos say, Chris, you know, I'm on a really limited budget. A lot of the perfumes you talk about are expensive, but I enjoy your content, so I watch you. And that means so much to me. So I want these three to go to someone like that. If you are on a really limited budget and these 3 perfumes sound really good to you, please let me know in the comments below, and I will ship this out to one person. It's so heavy. I'm gonna keep this US only. I'm serious, like these alone are like 20 pounds. So just let me know in the comments below. If you win this and any or all of them are not up your alley, I just ask that you give them to friends or family members. And I will say, you do need to be a subscriber, be in the United States, and I'm going to strongly recommend that you have the bell notifications on. I've had winners in of my other giveaways that I could not track down, and I was just racking my brain, like, they're not responding to me, to my messages. They're not responding to the community tab that says they won, and the only thing I can think of is they don't have the bell notifications on, so they're not notified when somebody responds or I post something on my community board. So make sure you're on the lookout for me replying back to you. And on the community board, I always post who wins. And I don't know if I'm gonna let this go 1 to 2 weeks. This was a highly requested video, so I have a feeling, you know, not all of my subscribers or viewers are going to be able to watch within the week. I don't know, it'll be 1 to 2 weeks. Let me know down below. Thanks again for sticking around. Thanks for watching. Thanks to all of you who reached out and asked me to do this video. I've been meaning to do it for a long, long time, and I'm glad I finally got around to doing it. Thanks to everyone who supports me with a thumbs up, following me, subscribing to me, and always coming and showing me love. And with that, I'll see you on the next one.